Hey, back again. It's Friday morning. I just did a video for about 15 minutes and deleted it. I'm at a bus station, and I had an appointment this morning at 9:30 that I was scheduled to keep, but I didn't make it. I didn't realize until about 10 minutes ago it's because my future self decided that wasn't the right timeline. So what happens is that now that I just experienced missing a bus, I was supposed to miss the bus. My future self said, listen, you're going to miss the bus, you're going to miss your doctor's appointment, because we need to make sure that you're on the right sequenced time events. We're held captive to a time clock, and money is tied to that time clock. And that's the way the planet works. The planet, now I'm not talking about the girl in the planet. That's no time. She does a memory wipe on me every time I go to the islands, deep in a wilderness area, where I'm not getting hit with her communication technology. Or demonic stuff, okay? When I'm always in my heart, I'm always with her, okay? That's why I knew as a child, stay in your heart, where your most powerful neurotransmitters and vortex is. That's your connection to all the light in the cosmos. That's your source connection. That's no time. So I don't wear a watch. I'm not held captive to a time clock, okay? Because I realized at the time, when was that, 4 years ago, it's time to get on the move. Things are going to start to happen at a highly accelerated rate because you know that a light is in here, more is coming in here. That means we're going to make a shift. That means that every single event that I experience while I'm here is sequenced to the events in which I wrote outside time while I'm inside time before I go home. Okay? So I realize that things are accelerating at a high rate of speed because we're going bye-bye. Because the classroom was dismissed in 2013, which essentially means in a time clock driven classroom in which the classroom does operate on a time clock, but it's a bigger time clock. Okay, it's synchronized to the galactic sun. So essentially what that means is that it's pretty much hoped that if you got 26,000 some odd years, you will have learned enough while you were here how light works, how to become a sun, if you will, how to become like the girl on the planet. Look at all the energy she gives us every day. Look what she carved out in this planet. It's beautiful. It's our home. So we're not going to do anything to hurt her, which means hurt the planet, hurt everything that's here. Okay? So we come in on corded tethers, if you will, just like in the Matrix. So I had a guy by the name of Tom Althouse, Althouse. He is the original author of The Matrix. So the studios got it, as I remember, I think it was Warner Brothers. He's a friend of mine. Okay, him and I share stuff back and forth together. They basically tried to kill him, put him away, because they essentially stole his story so they could make millions of money off of it, change things around that weren't part of the original story. But as I mentioned to him, because he just sent me a message letting me know that a link that I sent to him about a video that I put up that you guys see, I was blocked. He says, whatever you're saying is big. So he at least recognizes that, and this is the guy that wrote The Matrix. So I told him, I said, listen, buddy, you had it right. You nailed it. Rise of the machines. The machine, the computer programmer, try to program your functions, what it is you do that is all rule-driven. And remember, in The Matrix, Neo woke up. Higher density consciousness woke up. I don't want to be held captive to a programmer. Welcome to Mr. Smith. How many clones you got, Mr. Smith? He kept throwing clones, okay, at Neo, and Neo kept going, kicking him out, kicking him out, kicking him out. And remember what happened at the end? There was so much light because there was so much love in Neo's heart for the goddess who was his girlfriend, okay, that what happened? Mr. Smith imploded. Bang, all that stuff went goodbye, right? Okay, so what happened out of that is that Mr. Smith is gone. So remember what Mr. Smith did? He went back to go speak to the Oracle. Okay, which is like, well, I guess we're going to have to do this another day, right? Which means it's like a push, like on a crap table, okay? Or, excuse me, a blackjack table. You know what a push is, right? It means the house didn't win, you didn't win. That's even. That's like the difference between a black hole and a white hole, okay? The difference between the original creator, okay, living light, and a machine, a computer, a supercomputer, artificial intelligence, trying to hold the mind or the density consciousness of something that is in a higher dimension captive to a machine, a computer. Sorry, I predate the first computer. I'm a source unit, otherwise known as a singularity unit of consciousness, which has no mass. Okay. That's why we can go anywhere we want to go. That's why we go wherever we got to go. It's like the first responders of the universe. Hey, we're losing light, which means we're losing a part of who we are. Well, we can't do that because we give love to everything. So as soon as we begin to realize we're losing a part of what we are, we got to restore what it is we are. See how that works? That's what an empath is. It's an automatic battery restoration, battery charging system. So we're bringing the light in wherever it's got to be restored. And that means wherever it has to be restored. So we measure it as a plus and a minus, if you will, between a white hole and a black hole. How much light are we using in the black hole? We're losing too much. My God, we could lose the universe. These are universe killers. They use technology. Why is that? Because it's the only way that they can think through their head that they can get into other dimensions to try and control more of what it is we create out of love. That's why what they do is forbidden. So they don't want you to know what I know. They don't want you to know what Patty knows. That's why the Indians are in here as teachers, peacekeepers, and healers. Okay? Because this is electric wars, which means feeding on your juice. So the easiest way to feed on your juice is to get you to run a time clock in which it's connected to money. So the money, which is represented by currency, which is electric current, okay? You see how that works? So my timeline was changed this morning. So when I thought, oh, I'm not going to make it to my appointment. Oh, well, that's cool. I'll just call back the office and say, listen, we got to do this another time. So we do this another time. So here I am sitting at a bus station here, right? What time is it? I don't know. But I know this. And this is how the AI works, by the way. While I was on the previous video, which I deleted it so that you wouldn't have to experience my energy getting molested, that was being cued, is what we call queued up. The AI was communicating to that unit of consciousness, saying, go over there next to that light worker and start harassing him, okay? So that that video doesn't get put on there so that you can see the information I was giving to you. That's how an AI will use a unit of consciousness. It's what we call a droning operation. A droning operator. Somebody who was a droning operator deliberately put information into the head of that skull and said, listen, go over there next to that light worker, start harassing him so that the information he's trying to put up on YouTube doesn't get there. Now that happens to me all the time. Because think of it this way. Okay? You can sit in a bus station, see how long you sit there before you get molested. Okay? Somebody wants something from you. Or they're trying to interrupt what it is that you're thinking or doing. Okay? Remember I talked about energetic vampires and all that? So this is why right now in particular, particularly when I'm in Reno, Nevada, the density consciousness here are all over the map. And I did a video one time before called a frequency distribution map, which means we're experiencing all the different frequencies which represent all the different consciousness that are all here. Okay? So what I do when I go into a place is because I'm experiencing them all, because I'm like a sponge, right? I'm absorbing all this energy, okay, that everybody's experiencing. I got to burn it off. So what happens is, excuse me, we're bringing the light in, which means we're raising the speed so people get to experience more of what the light is. Because we understand the timeline that we're on, we're running out of time. We don't have a lot of time left. And I don't want to lose nobody, because that's painful. Because I know what happened here. It's easy to explain. I've done my level best trying to do that on the videos that I put up with the time that I have left while I'm here to do that with. So naturally, they don't want you to know that. You know, because then you begin to understand how the time clock holds everybody captive to lower density consciousness, because they run a time clock, we don't. So the time clock of the Milky Way galaxy is designed for the time that you spend in here, okay, that when you're spending time with her in spirit and learning through her, which is no time, you're beginning to realize how creation works, okay? And when you're able to do that, see how the light is, and get your wave speed up by attracting more light, by the love that you have in your heart you're giving to others, you automatically go faster. Wow, I'm getting more energy. Yeah, automatically. So you don't need an energy from anybody else. No, I already got all the energy I need. So you already know where you come from. You're source connected, but your normal realm is not here. It's the classroom. Okay? What is the purpose of a classroom? Learn. Okay? So what happens is everybody ran to the wrong teachers. But they didn't have any choice, did they? When you grew up in a family, you didn't have any choice. You weren't a 5-year-old kid who went into kindergarten and you said, hey, listen, I don't want to go to that school. Okay, I'd rather go be with her and learn from her because I love to be with nature. I'm learning more through her than I am through them. But your parents say, no, you got to go to school. Remember, they used to have truant officers. Okay, we're going to round up all your children and put them in juvenile hall, put them in a cage. They're going to be forced to learn from us to keep them in a time clock. They're going to be a human resource asset for us. That means they got to go to our schools because we're training them to work for our corporations. And our corporations are parasites. So what that means is you're being programmed to become a parasite for them, which is nothing more than an energy slave. And what does that do? Drains your energy. How are you going to escape a time clock when you're being used as a slave? You're not. So if your density consciousness isn't experiencing higher energy and know the difference between what you are and what you're not, then you're in alignment with them. And how are you going to move above that? How can you move above a parasite? You won't, unless you know how to get your energy up. That's the purpose of the classroom, isn't it? Okay? Is to reach escape velocity, your tachometer. Okay? You got to get your speed up. And the easiest way to get your speed up is going directly in your heart. That's what I use. You know, your soul connects. Your soul is your compass bearing, right? That's where the most powerful magnetic amplifier is to raise your light. So like last night, I was beginning to listen to certain music that moves my spirit because I love to play instruments. I love to hear music. Why is that important? Because of the sequenced events that I'm in. I'm trying to diffuse the energies that I'm picking up, right? I want to be in higher density consciousness, like lower density consciousness, so I love to listen to music that moves my spirit like crazy. Makes me want to get on my drums. Bring all the spirit out in nature, because that's what we do. Raise the energy, raise the spirit. Okay? Go into a timeless state, but you're not held by a time clock. When you've had that kind of experience, you're able to have a different frame of reference between what that is and what they are. So now you know the difference between what it feels like to experience the different energies, which represent the different states of consciousness. One is higher, one is lower, because the energy that you experience is the difference between higher and lower speed. So it's just like, man, you got to shift gears, which means shift dimensions. Get that speed up, okay? And it comes through the heart. That's where your soul's connected. Higher energy, okay? So I'll leave that for the day. My events, I already wrote, so that means that my timeline just shifted. Instead of being down in South Nevada, and then every event after that would have been different, wouldn't it? See, now all the events are going to be different than what I thought they would have been if I'd have been at that appointment. Because everything linked after I saw the doctor, now I get on a bus, then I come back here, it would all be different. My timeline would have been completely different than the one I'm on right now. That means I deliberately changed it for a reason because I know all the future events that are synced to this one. So that means I'm on the right timeline. You're maintaining the correct timeline to say goodbye. And that's the benefit of being outside time versus inside a clock. That's why I don't wear a watch and I don't hold myself captive to a clock. So anyway, I love you all. Have a great day. I hope that those that watch this video have gained some value from that and it's assisted you in some way to understand sort of how we move between density consciousnesses in order to maintain what it is that we know what we are, which is higher than what that is, okay? Which is fear, okay? I don't allow fear to hold me captive because I know better. Because I run with love in my heart, and I know that's what created the cosmos. Okay? So for me, that's like basic logic and common sense. But to move beyond the fear-based experiences, to let go of all that resistance, which is the resistance in your circuits, okay, is what's preventing the higher density consciousness from experiencing the higher experiences, the higher energetic experiences that represent who we really are. As a result of what we experienced in a time clock-driven money machine that was run by fear-based predators. They fear losing our energy. Because they feed on it. They feed on the quanta. So they feed on the light. Because we are living light, living spirit that is in that light. Okay, so they know we're going bye-bye. That's why they're throwing a fit and throwing everything they can at us. Okay, to try and keep us in their time clock. Sorry, bye, I love you all.